What's up? I'm Coach Dan Blewett. In today's video, let's talk about whether or not you can jam a hitter using a metal bat. All right, so if you're new here, I'm Coach Dan Blewett. I'm a former pro pitcher. On my channel, you'll find tons of pitching, strength training, arm care, mental training, all that sort of stuff. And in the video description below, you'll find my 2 pitching books, soon to be a 3rd, and my online courses, other videos, all that stuff. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. So today's question is, can you jam hitters with an aluminum bat? And I actually heard this, this was something I conflicted with my head coach on in college. They said basically that pitching inside is not effective when you have an aluminum bat. It's only effective when you have a wood bat like the one I have in my hands today. And that's simply not true. So with a metal bat, and the main difference to understand here are 2 things with the bat. Number 1, a wood bat can break. That's less true with maple bats like this one than ash bats. Ash bats were much easier to break than maple bats, and that's coming from experience. The other thing is, aluminum bats have a much bigger center of percussion, which is the sweet spot, which is the spot where on the bat it resonates perfectly, where it hits, the bat sort of vibrates at the same frequency, and that's probably not the right way to explain it, but basically it hits perfect, and the bat's vibration, all that, everything aligns, and you barely feel the ball, and off it goes. I'm not a physicist. I failed at that one. You'll forgive me. Anyway, the center percussion on a wood bat is not much bigger than a baseball. It's pretty wide on an aluminum bat. That's why you can mishit it and get it a lot farther with a metal bat than you can a wood bat, which is why some people say pitching inside is not as effective, because guys can still take you deep, or they can still hit the ball really hard. Here's the thing. Number 1, if you only pitch away, hitters get really, really comfortable, and that's a problem. If I'm up here, even if you throw really hard, and I know there's very little chance that you're gonna come purposefully inside with that hard fastball, I get to be real relaxed, and now if you miss over the plate, I feel real good about extending my arms and crushing it. And pitches away, yeah, I might have to drive them opposite field, but at the same time, I'm not scared of the ball. So when you start to go in, especially when you have hitters who like to extend their arms, A, it puts the fear of God into them. B, it stops making them feel as comfortable where they can just sort of relax. I'm in no danger. I can just wait, extend my arms, and drive the ball. And C, you can jam hitters very well with a metal bat. Now, you only run into trouble if you have these hitters who are pretty strong and they can consistently lift the ball, where they can get jammed and still get it over the infield into the outfield. If you have smaller hitters who don't have a ton of power and you jam them, the ball's gonna stay in the infield more times than not. It's gonna be gobbled up by your third baseman or your shortstop, and it's gonna be an easy out. This idea that pitching inside is ineffective is wrong, because even with a metal bat, if you get it on the trademark or you get it on the end cap, they're not gonna hit it that hard, and the only way they're gonna start to really make good contact or to get a lot more hits is if they're getting it over the infield. The other thing, it's really rare to find an amateur hitter who can mishit the ball significantly and get it over the outfielder's head. That's pretty rare. At higher levels, we've seen Barry Bonds break his bat, hit the ball out. That's happened, I think, who's the other guy that did that? Todd Frazier also did that. It's been done in the majors where you can mishit it, but it's pretty rare that amateur players have that. So really the worst thing that happens when you go inside and you don't quite jam a guy as well as you want is that, he hits it into left field for a single, or maybe he hits a hard line drive through the hole. But overall, most guys are not gonna have enough power to really hurt you if you actually get it in there and you actually jam them. The other common complaint is that if you try to go in and you miss, you put on the inner half, and that's middle in, that's everyone's happy zone, now you do get hurt. That is true, but you just have to be good enough where you say, okay, if I'm going in, mentally this part and over is dead to me, and if I'm gonna miss in, I'm gonna miss inner third and farther in. That's what good pitchers do. This is not an easy pitch to hit, and it's a misconception that inside pitches are easy to hit. Hitters don't like hitting inside pitches. They like hitting inner half pitches. Inner third, which is right here, I've got to get my barrel really far out in front to hit that ball hard. And that takes I have to be way out in front. I've got to get going earlier, or I have to have really excellent bat speed to get my hands that far out in front. If I make contact with an inner third pitch here, it's trademark, and I'm not going to hit the ball very hard. So a lot of times when people demonize pitching inside to hitters with an aluminum bat, Really, it's just that pitchers aren't executing very well. And so they're saying, oh, pitching inside is not very effective. Well, it's not effective because you missed over the middle of the plate, or it's not effective because you didn't get the ball very, very far in. That's really the reason. But when you actually get it inner third and farther in, metal bats, like no one in amateur baseball is going to be pumping the ball out of a full field on an actual jam job. It's just very, very rare. So I don't want you to mistake the idea that when I miss inside, I get hurt. Yeah, if you miss inside, if you miss anywhere, you get hurt. If you go outer third and miss over the plate, you get hurt. So it's not to say that pitching away is not effective. No, it's not effective when you miss your spot over the middle of the plate. So the big thing to remember is that until hitters have a ton of power where they actually can miss at the ball and put it over your outfielder's head, you're really not that much in danger if you hit your spots. You're always in danger if you miss your spots. And so really, you have to make sure that inner half is not what you think when you think inside. Inner third and farther in is what inside actually is. And that's a very effective way to pitch because it makes hitters uncomfortable. When you start to miss in, it makes them fearful. Now it opens up the outer part of the plate, and that metal bat is not a trampoline. It's not gonna just pump them out as easy as you think. So hopefully today's video is helpful. I don't want young pitchers to lose this ability to pitch inside. It's really important. You own the plate. It opens up the outer part. It's really not that easy to drive the ball when it's actually in the inner part of the plate. And missing, whether you're missing over the plate from the outside target or an inside target, doesn't really matter. Missing your spot is never an effective thing. So if you actually get the ball in, even with an aluminum bat, you're going to be really, really effective, and it's going to be really tough for hitters to extend their arms, feel comfortable, and drive the ball. All right. So thanks for watching. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. Check out my books in the description below, and I'll see you here in the next pitching video.